I arrived early to my in-laws' Christmas party, keys still cold in my hand, when I heard my wife laughing and say, "I'm pregnant. You're going to be a father." I pulled into my in-laws' driveway at 6:42 p.m., 23 minutes early. The quarterly review meeting at Vertex Technologies had ended sooner than expected. My boss had canceled the post-meeting drinks, something about his kids' school play. So instead of arriving at 7 as planned, I was early for the first time in 3 years of family Christmas dinners. Snow crunched under my boots as I walked up the path. The Anderson family home was lit up like a catalog spread, white lights wrapped around every column, wreaths on every window, that massive tree visible through the bay window. My mother-in-law Diane went all out for Christmas, always had. I could hear laughter inside, voices, music playing low. The front door was unlocked. It always was during parties. I stepped into the foyer quietly, still holding my keys, about to call out that I was here. Then I heard my wife's voice from the living room. "I'm pregnant," Natalie said. Her voice was bright, happy, excited. "You're going to be a father, Jordan." The room erupted. Cheers, clapping. Someone, sounded like Diane, shrieked with joy. I froze in the hallway, hidden behind the half-open coat closet door. Through the gap, I could see into the living room. Natalie stood by the Christmas tree, the 12-foot Douglas fir that Diane insisted on every year. She was wearing the red dress I'd bought her for her birthday. Her arm was around Jordan Patterson, her work friend from the marketing agency, the guy who'd been at every family event for the past 6 months. Everyone was celebrating, hugging them, congratulating them. Diane was crying, happy crying. Natalie's sister Emma was taking photos. "Oh my God, this is amazing. When are you due?" "June," Natalie said. "Early June." No one looked confused. No one said, "Wait, where's Ethan?" No one questioned why my wife was announcing a pregnancy with another man, which meant I was the only person in that house who didn't know. I'm Ethan Cole, 34 years old, senior systems architect at Vertex Technologies. I'd been with Natalie for 8 years, married for 5. We'd met at a friend's wedding. She'd been a bridesmaid. I'd been a groomsman. Classic setup. We'd hit it off immediately. She was a senior account manager at Morrison Creative, a boutique marketing agency in downtown Seattle. Smart, ambitious, beautiful. We'd bought a house in Ballard 3 years ago, a 3-bedroom craftsman that needed work, but had good bones. I'd put down $85,000 from my inheritance after my father died. We'd been fixing it up together, or I'd thought we were doing it together. The past 6 months, Natalie had been working late, a lot. New client, she'd said. Big campaign. Required FaceTime. "Jordan's really stepping up," she'd mentioned one night in September. "He's basically co-managing the account with me. It's nice having someone reliable." Jordan Patterson, 29, graphic designer, started at Morrison Creative 8 months ago. I'd met him at Natalie's company summer party in July. Seemed nice enough. Talked about his photography hobby, his apartment in Capitol Hill, his CrossFit gym. "He's gay," Natalie had said when I'd commented that he seemed to be around a lot. "Don't be weird about it." So I hadn't been weird about it. I'd been trusting, supportive, understanding when she worked late. When she went to team dinners that lasted until midnight. When Jordan started showing up at Thanksgiving, at Emma's birthday dinner, at our anniversary party that Diane had insisted on throwing. I'd been an idiot. I didn't walk into that living room, didn't scream, didn't confront anyone. I turned around, walked out the front door, got in my Honda Accord, sat in the driveway with the engine running. My hands were shaking. My heart was hammering so hard I thought I might be having a heart attack. Pregnant. June. Which meant, I did the math. September. August. The team retreat to Portland. The weekend Natalie had said she needed to brainstorm away from distractions. I'd stayed home, painted the guest bedroom, fixed the leaky faucet in the kitchen, been the good husband. My phone buzzed. Text from Natalie. "Where are you? Everyone's asking. Thought you'd be here by now?" I stared at that message, at the casual tone, at the question mark, like she was genuinely confused. I didn't answer. Instead, I put the car in reverse, drove away from the Anderson family home, drove to the Courtyard Marriott on Aurora Avenue, checked in, room 314, paid cash, sat on the bed in that anonymous hotel room and opened the Notes app on my phone. Not to write feelings, not to vent, to make a list of actions. 1. Find divorce lawyer. 2. Document everything. 3. Secure finances. 4. Move money. 5. Get tested for STDs. 6. Change passwords. 7. Collect evidence. I worked on that list until 3:17 a.m. The next morning, I called Morrison and Hayes Legal, the firm that had handled my father's estate, asked for Jennifer Morrison, 32 years of family law experience. I'd met her when we'd probated Dad's will. "Ethan Cole," she said when her assistant put me through. "It's been a while. What can I do for you?" "I need a divorce attorney. Today. I can be there in an hour. Come in at 10. Bring everything financial, bank statements, property deeds, tax returns, credit card statements, retirement accounts, everything." I hung up, started downloading files, statements, documents, everything from the last 5 years. At 9:40 11:47 a.m., my phone rang. Natalie. I didn't answer. She called again and again. Then a text. Ethan, where the hell are you? You never came to dinner. You're not answering. Everyone's worried. Another text. This is childish. Call me. Another. Fine. Be that way. But we need to talk. I blocked her number. Jennifer Morrison's office was in a high-rise in downtown Seattle. Glass walls, view of the Sound. She was 57, gray hair pulled back, sharp eyes that missed nothing. I showed her everything. The house deed, the down payment documentation, the savings accounts, the retirement portfolios, 5 years of joint finances. Your name is on the house? She asked. Mine only. Down payment came from my inheritance. The mortgage is joint, but the equity is primarily yours, especially the initial $85,000. That's separate property under Washington law. She kept scanning documents. Retirement accounts? I've been maxing out my 401k for 12 years. She started her retirement account 3 years ago, maybe $40,000 in there. And the savings? Joint account, about $67,000, but most of it came from my bonuses. Jennifer leaned back. Ethan, this is actually quite clean. Washington is a community property state, but given that the major assets originated from your inheritance and your income stream, and given that the marriage is relatively short with no children, she paused. I assume there are no children. No, my voice came out flat. No children. Then we're looking at a relatively straightforward division. You'll likely keep the house or get the majority of the equity. Retirement accounts will be split proportionally. This could be done in 6 to 8 months. I want it done faster. Ethan, she's pregnant with someone else. I want this done before that baby is born. Jennifer's expression shifted. Are you certain the child isn't yours? I heard her announce the pregnancy to him, to his face, saying, you're going to be a father. My in-laws were celebrating. No one was confused. Everyone knew except me. Jesus. Jennifer pulled out a legal pad, started writing. Okay, we're filing for divorce immediately. Irreconcilable differences. We're requesting the house, your retirement accounts, and 50% of the joint assets. Given the adultery and the pregnancy, we have leverage even though Washington is no fault. Are you prepared for this to get ugly? I'm prepared for it to be over. Good. Don't contact her except through me. Don't move money without documenting it. Don't do anything that could be construed as retaliation. And Ethan? She looked at me seriously. Get yourself tested. STD screening. Full panel. Today. I left her office at 11:34 a.m. with a retainer agreement signed and a check written for $5,000. The calls started that afternoon. Natalie called 14 times from different numbers. I didn't answer. Diane called. Ethan, honey, what's going on? Natalie is beside herself. She says you just disappeared. Are you okay? I hung up. Emma called. Ethan, seriously, what the fuck? You're acting crazy. Natalie's trying to reach you. At least let her know you're alive. I blocked her. Then Jordan's wife called. Wait, Jordan's wife? Ethan, this is Amanda Patterson, Jordan's wife. Her voice was shaking. I found your number in his phone, in his contacts. I think something's going on. Can we meet? Jordan's gay, I said automatically. Jordan's not gay. We've been married for 3 years. He told me the same thing he told you, that he was single, that he was gay, that I was just a friend from college he sees occasionally. She was crying now. But I found hotel receipts, text messages, pictures, him and your wife. I need to know how long this has been going on. My stomach dropped. Meet me at the Starbucks on 45th. 1 hour. Amanda Patterson was 28, blonde, worked as a nurse at Swedish Medical Center. She brought a folder of evidence that made me want to vomit. Hotel receipts from the Portland trip. The team retreat that Jordan had also attended, apparently alone, without his wife knowing. Text messages between Jordan and Natalie. Jordan to Natalie, August 14th, 11:47 p.m. I can't keep doing this. Amanda's starting to ask questions. Natalie to Jordan, August 14th, 11:52 p.m. So tell her you're working late. Tell her anything. I'm not losing you. Jordan to Natalie, August 20th, 3:15 p.m. What if we just came clean? What if we both filed for divorce and started over? Natalie to Jordan, August 20th, 3:22 p.m. We can't. Not yet. Ethan's inheritance money is in the house. I need to wait until I can get half the equity. Then we can go. More texts. More photos. Jordan and Natalie at restaurants, at bars, at a cabin in the San Juans that I'd never heard of. I found out last week, Amanda said. Went through his phone while he was sleeping. Found everything. Confronted him. He tried to lie. Then he admitted it. Said he was in love with her. Said they were going to start a life together. She wiped her eyes. Then I saw your wife's Facebook post yesterday. The pregnancy announcement. And I realized he'd been lying to me about that too. They announced it publicly. I pulled out my phone. Opened Facebook. Natalie's account. The post was from last night. 11:47 p.m. A photo of her and Jordan. Her hand on her stomach. His hand over hers. We're pregnant. Baby Patterson arriving June 2025. We couldn't be more excited to start this next chapter together. 473 likes. 82 comments. Everyone congratulating them. My hands started shaking so hard I dropped the phone. Amanda picked it up. I'm filing for divorce. My lawyer says I have a strong case for adultery. Natalie, Jordan's moving out this weekend. She paused. I wanted to meet you because I thought you deserved to know the truth, and because she pulled out another document. I have this, Jordan's credit card statement. There are charges here that might help your case too. She slid it across the table. Charges to jewelry stores, furniture stores, a prenatal clinic. He's been paying for her prenatal care, Amanda said. His insurance, not yours, which means she's been lying to you about more than just the affair. I took everything to Jennifer Morrison that afternoon. The texts, the photos, the credit card statements. Amanda's statement agreeing to testify if needed. This changes things, Jennifer said. This isn't just adultery. This is fraud. She's been planning to leave you while maximizing what she can take. The texts prove intent. We can use this. How? We file immediately. We request emergency orders freezing all joint accounts pending the divorce. We request the house based on your separate property contribution, and we make it very clear that if she fights us, we'll introduce all of this evidence in open court. Do it. Jennifer drafted the papers that night, filed them the next morning. Natalie was served at work at 2:47 p.m. on December 27th. She called me 3 minutes later. I answered on speaker with Jennifer beside me. What the fuck is this? Natalie's voice was shrill. Panic. Divorce papers? You served me at work? Don't contact my client directly, Jennifer said. All communication goes through me. Who the hell is this? Jennifer Morrison, Mr. Cole's attorney. You'll be receiving a formal notice that all joint accounts are frozen pending asset division. You'll also receive a restraining order prohibiting you from entering the marital home or removing any property. You can't do this, Natalie was screaming now. I live there. That's my house. It's Mr. Cole's house. The down payment came from his separate inheritance. The deed is in his name. You'll be provided with 90 days to find alternative housing, during which time Mr. Cole will stay elsewhere. Ethan, talk to me. You can't just don't contact me again unless it's through my attorney, I said. My voice was steady, calm. You weren't supposed to find out this way. I was supposed to be there early enough to hear you announce your pregnancy in person, but I guess that's not how things worked out. Silence. You weren't supposed to be there yet, Natalie whispered. You said 7. You're always late. You weren't supposed to. Not an apology, not a denial, just anger that I'd ruined her timing. Goodbye, Natalie. I hung up. The next 3 weeks were a blur of legal maneuvering. Jennifer filed motions, submitted evidence, requested expedited hearings. Natalie's attorney, Robert Chen, 47 years of family law, tried to argue that the house was community property, that Natalie deserved half, that the pregnancy entitled her to additional support. Jennifer destroyed that argument in 15 minutes of documented evidence, the inheritance proof, the deed, the texts showing premeditated fraud. The judge, Honorable Patricia Alvarez, 23 years on the bench, ruled in my favor. The house stayed mine. The joint accounts were divided 65-35 in my favor. Natalie's retirement account stayed hers. My retirement stayed mine. This court finds sufficient evidence of marital misconduct and fraudulent intent, Judge Alvarez said at the hearing. The petitioner's separate property claims are well documented. Division is granted as requested. Natalie sobbed through the entire proceeding. Jordan sat beside her, holding her hand. Amanda was there too, filed her own divorce the same week. Washington is a no-fault state, but adultery still matters for asset division and custody arrangements. Except Amanda and Jordan didn't have kids, but they did have a condo, a boat, 2 cars. By the time Amanda's attorney finished, Jordan was left with his clothes and his camera equipment. Natalie kept trying to reach me. Text from unknown number. Ethan, please, can we talk? Just talk? Another, this is insane. You're overreacting. We can work through this. Another, I'm pregnant. Doesn't that mean anything to you? I need support. I forwarded every message to Jennifer. Then Diane called, left a voicemail. Ethan, honey, I know you're hurt. I know what Natalie did was wrong, but we're family. We need to work through this. We're having a dinner at our house next Saturday. Just family. To talk things through. To figure out how we move forward. Please come. Please. I listened to that voicemail 3 times. Jennifer advised against it. They want to ambush you, guilt you, make you feel like the bad guy for not forgiving her. I know. So don't go. I'm going. Ethan, I'm going, but not the way they expect. The dinner was Saturday, January 18th, 6:30 p.m. Same house, different circumstances. I spent the week preparing, had Jennifer draft documents, organized evidence, made copies of everything. Saturday came. I put on a suit, the gray one I'd worn to my father's funeral. Appropriate. I drove to the Anderson family home at exactly 6:30 p.m. Diane answered the door. Her smile was forced, nervous. Ethan, thank you for coming. Of course, the living room looked different without the Christmas tree. Smaller, colder. Everyone was there. Diane, her husband Frank, Emma and her husband Chris, Natalie, and Jordan. They'd put Jordan at the table at a family dinner like he belonged there. When I walked in, every conversation stopped. Natalie stood up so fast she knocked over her water glass. Jordan went pale. Ethan, Diane's voice was tight. We're so glad you came. Please sit. I sat across from Natalie, next to Emma. The table was set for 7. Diane had made pot roast, Natalie's favorite. it. Nobody ate. The tension was suffocating. Frank kept clearing his throat. Emma kept glancing between Natalie and me. Chris looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. Diane tried. So Ethan, how's work? Good. Got a promotion. Senior lead architect. 30% raise. That's wonderful. Congratulations. Silence. Natalie, how are you feeling? Morning sickness? It's manageable. Natalie wouldn't look at me. More silence. Finally, Frank spoke. Look, Ethan, we're all adults here. What happened? It's complicated, but we're family. We need to figure out how to move forward. For everyone's sake. For everyone's sake? I repeated. Natalie made a mistake, but she's pregnant. Jordan's stepping up. They're trying to build something, and we hope that you can find a way to be civil about this. For the family. Civil. Yes, the divorce is happening. We understand that, but we don't want this to turn into a war. We don't want lawyers and fighting and— Too late, I said. I pulled out the folder I'd brought, set it on the table. What's that? Diane asked. Evidence, documentation, the truth you all decided to hide from me. I opened the folder, slid the divorce decree across the table. Already signed by Judge Alvarez. Final. Binding. It's done. The divorce is finalized. As of 3 days ago. Natalie's eyes went wide. What? That's impossible. It takes months. It takes months when both parties are contesting. When one party can prove fraud, premeditation, and misconduct, and the other party's attorney advises them not to fight, it takes 3 weeks. I pulled out another document. Financial settlement. The house is mine. The savings are mine. Your retirement account is yours. We're done. I slid more papers across the table. Bank statements, hotel receipts, text messages between Natalie and Jordan planning how to maximize what she'd get from the divorce. I've also subpoenaed Morrison Creative's HR records. Jordan wasn't gay. Jordan was married. You both lied. You both manipulated everyone. And you both documented everything in your texts. Jordan looked like he might vomit. Ethan, please. Natalie's voice cracked. Can we just talk? Privately? No, because apparently this is where we make family announcements. This is where we celebrate pregnancies and pretend everything's fine. I stood up, pulled out another envelope. This one I slid to Diane. For you, since you were so excited about the pregnancy announcement. This is a timeline. Every hotel visit, every lie, every manipulation, everything your daughter did while I was working 60-hour weeks to pay for the house she wanted in the neighborhood she chose. Diane's hands were shaking as she opened it. And Emma? I pulled out one more document. Since you're documenting everything on social media, since you took all those photos at Christmas, this is a letter from my attorney requesting you take down every post that includes me, every photo of me at your family events. I'm not part of this family anymore. Emma's face flushed red. I looked at Jordan. And you're not just getting my ex-wife. You're getting her $47,000 in credit card debt that she racked up buying furniture for our house, her $68,000 in student loans, and apparently a baby. Congratulations. Ethan, stop. Natalie was crying now. You're being cruel. I'm being honest, which is more than any of you were to me. I picked up my coat, but I wasn't done. I pulled out one final envelope, walked around the table to where Jordan sat frozen. This is for your wife, Amanda. She couldn't be here tonight because she's working a shift at Swedish Medical, but she wanted me to give you this. I dropped the envelope in his lap. Divorce papers. She filed last week. She's getting the condo, the boat, and half your retirement account. She's also requesting spousal support since she supported you through grad school. Jordan's hands were shaking as he opened the envelope. She wanted me to tell you something. I leaned close. She said thank you for showing her who you really are before you had kids together, before she wasted more time. I straightened up, looked around the table one last time. Enjoy dinner. Enjoy your new family. And Diane? I smiled. You asked me to come here to work through this, to be civil, to find a way to move forward. So here's how we move forward. You never contact me again. None of you. You made your choice at Christmas. You celebrated their pregnancy. You knew for months and said nothing. So now you get to live with that choice. I walked toward the door. Natalie's voice followed me. Ethan, please, don't do this. We can still talk. We can still— I turned back one last time. You're due in June, right? Early June? That's 6 months from now. Know what else happens in 6 months? I looked at Jordan. Your divorce will be final. The condo Amanda's getting, that's where you two were planning to live, right? The one you bought together 3 years ago? The one with the mortgage payment you can't afford alone? Jordan's face had gone gray. So where are you going to live? With Natalie? In her apartment? The one she's renting because I kept the house? The one-bedroom apartment in Northgate that costs $2,100 a month? I smiled, because that sounds like a great place to raise a baby. Really spacious. The room was dead silent. Oh, and one more thing. I pulled out my phone, pulled up an email, turned it toward the table. This is from Morrison Creative's HR department. Response to my lawyer's subpoena. Turns out having an affair with a married colleague violates the company ethics policy, especially when said affair involved lying to other employees about your relationship status. I looked at Natalie. You've been terminated, effective immediately. They're requesting you return your laptop and key card by Monday. Natalie's face went white. They can't, they can, and they did. Something about maintaining professional professional standards and integrity in client relationships. It's all in the email. Jordan stood up. This is insane. You can't just... I already did. Everything I've done is legal. Everything is documented. Everything is final. I looked at him. Really looked at him. At this man who'd smiled at me at family dinners while sleeping with my wife. You wanted her? You got her. Her debt, her unemployment, her pregnancy. All yours. I headed for the door. Wait, Diane's voice was desperate. Ethan, please, don't leave like this. We can fix this. We're family. I stopped, turned back. We were family, until you chose to protect her instead of tell me the truth. Until you celebrated a pregnancy you knew wasn't mine. Until you invited me here to be civil instead of honest. I looked at each of them. So no, we can't fix this. And we're not family. Frank stood up. You're going to regret this when you're alone, when you realize what you've thrown away. I've thrown away a wife who cheated on me for 6 months and got pregnant with another man's baby. I've thrown away in-laws who lied to my face. I've thrown away people who value comfort over honesty. I smiled. I don't think I'm going to regret that at all. I walked out into the cold January night. Behind me, I heard Natalie sobbing, Diane trying to comfort her, Jordan's voice, defensive, trying to explain. I got in my car, started the engine. My phone buzzed. Text from Jennifer Morrison. How'd it go? I typed back, perfectly. They got everything they deserved. She responded, good. Drinks tomorrow to celebrate? Deal. 6 months later, I'm sitting in my house, the 3-bedroom Craftsman in Ballard that I bought with my inheritance. The guest bedroom is painted. The kitchen faucet doesn't leak. I've added a deck in the backyard, gotten a dog, a rescue named Bailey who follows me everywhere. I'm still at Vertex Technologies, still senior lead architect, got another raise. Project I'm leading just won an industry award. I haven't heard from Natalie, haven't heard from any of the Andersons, but I heard from Amanda Patterson. She texted last month. Jordan moved out, living in a studio in Fremont, can barely afford his rent after the divorce settlement. Heard through a mutual friend that Natalie's living with her parents. Baby's due next week. Thought you'd want to know they're getting exactly what they built together. I responded, thanks for the update. How are you? Better. Started dating someone. An actual decent human being. It's weird being happy again. I'm glad. She sent one more message. You saved me, you know. That day at Starbucks. Showing me I wasn't crazy. That they were the problem, not me. Thank you. You saved yourself. You just needed proof you weren't alone. She was right though. I am happy. Weirdly, genuinely happy. The betrayal hurt. The lies hurt. The months of gaslighting hurt. But walking out of that house, watching Natalie's face when she realized I wasn't going to forgive her, watching Jordan realize he'd traded a stable marriage for a pregnancy, unemployment, and debt, that didn't hurt at all. Last week, I got a friend request on LinkedIn. Diane Anderson. I declined it. She sent a message through Emma, said she wanted to reconnect, said enough time had passed, said Natalie wanted to apologize. I blocked Emma's number, because here's what I learned from all of this. Forgiveness is optional. Reconciliation is optional. Contact is optional. The only thing that's mandatory is self-respect. And I wasn't going to give that up for people who'd traded it for a Christmas announcement and a baby that wasn't mine. Sometimes I think about that moment, hearing Natalie's voice through that doorway. I'm pregnant. You're going to be a father. The moment everything shattered. The moment I realized the woman I'd trusted had been planning my betrayal for months while I painted bedrooms and fixed faucets. I don't regret leaving. Don't regret the divorce. Don't regret any of it. I regret trusting people who didn't deserve it. But I don't regret taking everything they tried to steal from me. My house, my money, my dignity, and walking away with it intact. They wanted me to be the villain. The cruel ex-husband who couldn't forgive. Instead, I became the person who knew exactly what I deserved. And what I deserved wasn't them. My phone buzzes. Text from a number I don't recognize. Ethan, it's Natalie. Please unblock me. I had the baby. A girl. She's beautiful. I wish things had been different. I wish you could be part of her life. Part of our lives. I'm sorry. I stare at that message for a long time. Then I delete it. Block the number. Because sorry isn't a time machine. It doesn't erase 6 months of lies. Doesn't erase a pregnancy announcement at Christmas. Doesn't erase the family that chose her over honesty. And I don't want to be part of her life. I want to be part of mine. The one I built after walking out of that house on a cold January night. The one where I get to choose who deserves my time, my trust, my love, and none of them made the cut.